Spade back here with you, High Noon Leatherworks, for another leather adventure. And today we're continuing the Halloween themed guitar strap. In the last episode we started doing all the carving. I finished that up and you can see how it's starting to take depth, some of the shading on some of the images that are on there. And then today we're going to move on to the next step, and we're going to do something a little bit different that I haven't done on the channel before, and we're going to do some two-tone dyeing. So give it a little different look, and we'll see how this turns out. So come on in and let's get started. Alright, so first thing I want to do is put on my protective gloves and give you a little bit closer shot of what the swivel knife cutting and the stamping, how it turned out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a saddle tan, which is lighter than just the Fibings tan, and both of these are Fibings products. And what I'm going to do, I've never tried this before, so it's something new for me altogether. Maybe I should have tried it on some scrap, but I thought it would turn out pretty good. So I'm going to try it, and if not, if it doesn't work out, I can always do it in the darker color. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the saddle tan and I'm going to do the entire front surface. So I'm just going to go ahead and dye the entire front surface with the saddle tan, and again it's going to lighten up as it dries. I want to make sure I get it down in my groove, my stamping, all my cuts, my swivel cuts. That's the important thing, is to make sure you get it covered evenly. And there are a lot of crevices and knife cuts and grooves in the stampings, so you want to make sure that you get everything coated real good. And then that'll start drying, lightening up. I'll show you a spot that I did first and how much that is lightening up already. I don't want to give it two full coats, but I also want to make sure that I coated it evenly. So I will come back and kind of look at it as I go through here, making sure I didn't miss any grooves or cuts or anything like that. Alright, that is the saddle tan. That's my first coat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a clean rag and I'm just going to rub that in. And what that'll do also is kind of gives that top surface a little bit of polish and shine. You see I'm not taking hardly any of the dye out of the leather or off of the leather. So as I kind of rub this, polish it, buff it, whatever you want to call it, buffing I guess would probably be the best term to use. You can see down here where I put it on first how it's really lightening up. And what it does too is it doesn't make it look solid, like it's just like if you painted it on, where it's just a solid color. What it does is if you don't put more than just that first top coat on there, what it's going to do is it's going to soak in to the leather at different levels depending on what part of the leather it's going on, and this will just continue to lighten up. And as we go through it, I can show you. Here's the last that I put on. It's starting to lighten up, but look down here at the end where I first put it on. Compare those two. Look at the difference. So that will continue to lighten up until it all matches. Now what I was talking about was, you can see there's some darker areas and lighter areas. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I don't want just a solid continuous dye job here, and I want the darker and the lighter so that the carvings really stick out. You can see how that light reflects off of those carvings in the artwork, and it makes that artwork really pop, especially in the light. So that's what I'm looking for the first coat. My second coat is I'm going to take the tan, which is the darker of the two between the saddle tan and the tan. I'm going to put a little bit of tan in that container, a separate container. I don't want to get them mixed up. And then I'm going to take a new dauber and put it in my tan, and then I'm just going to go real lightly around the edges where I did my border stamping. And I'm not trying to make a perfect line or anything. Just trying to go around and hit that with that darker tan dye on that outside edge. And again, I'm trying to do that all the way around as evenly as possible. I don't want any sharp lines or anything like that. So then I'll take my cloth again. You can take a new one, doesn't matter. And I'll do the same thing all the way around on the edge. where I just put my tan dye. And again, I'm just buffing that. I'm trying to actually get that to where it blends in with the lighter dye, and we get that darkening edge effect so that it looks older or darker on the edge than it does in the middle. And again, I didn't try to put it on perfectly all the way around or in a straight line, and you can see what that does. So it kind of gives us a dark edge around the outside. Now all this will lighten up a little bit, but that edge, or the where I put my border stamping, all that's going to be a shade darker than what the actual strap is. And then you can see by putting one coat of that saddle tan on there and buffing that, look how shiny that ended up being when I buffed that. So it gives it a nice shiny look. It leaves dark impressions in spots on the artwork, as you can see. So it makes it stick out so you can see it really well. And then it leaves a really neat look. Like I said, I'd never done this before, but I thought it would turn out really neat if I just used one shade darker. So it really gives a professional, sharp, two-tone look with very little effort. Alright, so got it dyed the way I want it in the two-tone look. You can see the artwork pop. Got it buffed and shiny. And I can put, once this dries real good, I can go ahead and put my sheen or my protectant, whatever I'm going to put on it to protect it. But this looks really good. I'm happy with the way that turned out. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please come back, check out the next one. We'll go to the next step. Try to knock this out for October for the Halloween themed guitar strap project. So as I always say, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.